So the Lakers are currently in a really interesting spot at the moment, as they currently are pushing for a play-in spot, standing at the ninth seed in the West with a record of 37 and 38. And they just recently lost to the Chicago Bulls today. And although LeBron and AD were playing today, they couldn't secure the dub at all, which is definitely disappointing for this team. With LeBron coming back from injury, you got to give him some slack. But with a team with D'Lo, AD, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt, you would expect them to at least come out with a dub with LeBron back, but they lost. So, definitely disappointing with this team. But on paper, this is actually one of the more balanced teams in the West, but when it comes to winning, they definitely come up short sometimes. So, in today's video, we'll break down the Lakers, talking about where they can go from here, and basically talking about some play-in/playoff talk with the Lakers, because I think they're definitely a team that can make a lot of noise depending on where they land by the end of the season, depending on who they play in the play-in. And even if they do move up into the playoffs, we'll see what happens with some matchups, because some teams out there can definitely be some better matchups compared to other teams. So we're getting into it right now. So first, we'll talk about the team as a whole. So they do have some good role players. I've said this in previous videos before about the Lakers, but guys like D'Lo, Beasley, and Vanderbilt, all these guys contribute to what they really did need pre-trade deadline, which was floor spacing and defense, which Westbrook, Pat Bev didn't really bring too much of. So obviously, getting D'Lo he's a good facilitator, good playmaker, someone that's going to be able to get a lot of assists in a game, and he's basically done that. D'Lo, he's been able to run the offense pretty well, a guy that can just be the main ball handler, someone that's going to know the play and just run it. And, that's really what the Lakers really wanted from D'Lo. Guys like Malik Beasley being a good spot-up shooter, someone that's going to be able to knock down the three. And then Vanderbilt being a gritty defender, which is also great for the Lakers, as it gives them another option on defense to guard some players. So I think, adding in Vanderbilt was definitely a huge W for this team, someone that's going to be able to do a lot of things that they really need him to do, and, what other players can do. So, Vanderbilt being a pretty underrated piece to this core, but also guys like D'Lo and Malik Beasley, all these guys should definitely be part of the Lakers' future moving forward if they do want to contend with AD. And I think they are going to keep this core, because I think some articles came out a couple weeks ago talking about not going for Kyrie in free agency and keeping the core of D'Lo, Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. So I think that's definitely a good option or a good decision for this team. Kind of overpaying for Kyrie Irving is not really the direction of this team. But also, they do have some just good role players, and they can just sign some, average, below average, maybe above average players in the offseason that can just replace Kyrie's skill set. So, outside of those three, guys like Austin Reeves, he's been also another name to look out for with his high potential as an offensive player. I definitely like his game. He might demand a lot of money in free agency. He is a restricted free agent, so we'll see how much he gets. But maybe we're paying him, I don't know. Usually I like to go 15 million for a role player like him, but maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 million, 15 million around there, depending on how the Lakers view him. But I think he definitely could be the starting small forward or starting shooting guard if LeBron retires sometime in the next 3 seasons. I think he definitely could be the starter for this team. With Malik Beasley being the starting shooting guard for this team, he definitely could be the starting small forward. So as for LeBron and AD, they've both been pretty injury prone this season alone. Especially LeBron with the recent foot injury. He did come back today, so that's a good sign for the Lakers. And, there were some reports today talking about him getting some season-ending surgery, which is definitely not good, but he didn't really need to get it, and now he's here. So that's good for the Lakers if they do want to make a final push for a ring with LeBron and AD. They're definitely going to need LeBron to be fully healthy. So the Lakers, for them to overachieve, they need LeBron and AD to not only be healthy, but be on top of their game. Being in the West, it's definitely being a lot more competitive now than ever, with a lot of teams being pretty similar in standings. If you look at the standings and records overall, at one point, I think the 8th to 10th seed or 8th to 11th seed were all the exact same records, which is definitely something I haven't seen in a while. Previously in my few videos about the Lakers, I did say that the West wasn't competitive, but looking at the standings right now, from the 7th seed to the 9th seed, they all have 37 wins. And then looking at OKC and Dallas, which they both have 36. So it's definitely a compact West right here. And I think the play-in push and the play-in tournament is definitely going to be very interesting this season. Definitely with, with teams like OKC making strides, Minnesota having Cat back, New Orleans hopefully having Zion back, maybe not. And then the Lakers, I mean, this might be one of the more competitive play-ins we've seen in a while. So yeah, like I said, the Lakers, they currently stand at the 9th seed behind the T-Wolves and ahead of OKC. So if the season ended today, they would be playing OKC, which really isn't the best with how hot they've been recently. With Shea, Giddey, Jalen Williams being a top 3 rookie. And, maybe Chet Holmgren comes back. I've seen on ESPN that he was upgraded to questionable, which, might not mean anything, but if OKC does make a playoff push, he definitely could make a return. We'll see what happens. I doubt he comes back, kind of keep him fresh for the next season, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, with OKC, they definitely aren't a team you really want to play in, but also if the Lakers do move up in the standings, they're going to be versing the Pelicans, which definitely would be a better matchup for them, but definitely a tough matchup regardless, with CJ and Brandon Ingram. I think, either way, you probably want to stay at 9. I mean, maybe you probably want to play OKC, kind of just use AD in the post with how small OKC is with the backcourt or with the front court. So I definitely think matchup-wise, OKC is definitely better, but New Orleans is definitely the easier team. So, I mean, the Lakers right now, they're definitely in a pretty tough position with their standings, but they definitely could, win all their games in the next like 7 games or 6 games, and they can move up into maybe the top 6. We'll see what happens if, everything works out, but definitely not the more favorable option right now. So, yeah, if the Lakers do want to make the playoffs, I mean, in my eyes, they're definitely... So if the Lakers do make the playoffs, in my eyes, they're definitely a borderline Western Conference team. I mean, considering everyone's healthy, considering that LeBron stays healthy, AD stays healthy, this team is definitely Western Conference bound. But, considering that, they're most likely a second-round exit at that, which is definitely not bad. But, with LeBron getting up there in age, they definitely want to be a finals contender, which is definitely their ceiling, which, I wouldn't say is too far of a stretch with how great their team is pretty built right now. But I don't know. I mean, if they do make the finals this year, it definitely would be interesting to see the Lakers back in the finals with LeBron. I think it would bring back a lot of viewership, with LeBron making the finals in his third, or I don't even know what season this is for him, but yeah, at age 38, him making the finals, it definitely would bring some more viewership. But I mean, a team of this caliber with a ton of supporting pieces that should prove to be pretty difficult to beat, especially with LeBron and AD creating a lot of gravity. This team should definitely get it done within the next 2 to 3 years if everything goes to plan. So you guys, let me know if you guys think the Lakers have some chances to make the playoffs this year. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they make some strides in the next few games for the season this year. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can make at least some strides to the playoffs. That's the end. I'm out.